This is the best moments of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less. Ever wish you could re-listen to your favorite interview or segment? Do you enjoy hearing older shows for the first time in years? Then the best moments of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less is just what you need. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show.
Hello, friends and neighbors. John Solberg here, your host for the best moments of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less. And I'm happy to tell you this episode is being brought to you by The Butcher Shop, purveyors of highly sought after 100% Australian non-crossbred Wyvara 9 Plus briskets, and as always, they're handpicked just for you. The Butcher Shop has been retailing the finest meats for the past 15 years. Every week, they're shipping out competition quality meats to many of the biggest teams in the competition scene across the nation. Simply put, teams who use The Butcher Shop win, and they win often. Not a competitor, but still have an eye for the finer cuts. Great news, summer is upon us, and The Butcher Shop is shipping some of the finest prime, dry-aged Australian Wagyu and Japanese Wagyu steaks to people just like you and me who aspire to be the kings and queens of their cul-de-sac. The Butcher Shop always has Berkshire, Compart Duroc, Allegiance Duroc, and Prairie Fresh all-natural pork in stock, and again, always handpicked for you. You might be saying, John, all that sounds great, but what about some exotic stuff? Rest easy. Know The Butcher Shop will get you your next elk steak or camel roast, and they're going to pick it out by hand and ship it right to you. Let's review. The best competition briskets, they got it. The best pork selection, they got it. Giving you better overall options to cook at home, they got that too. Give The Butcher Shop a call today. 850-458-8782. That's 850-458-8782. Mention the Barbecue Central show, and they're going to give you 10% off your entire order each and every time you call. The Butcher Shop, home of the 100% Australian non-crossbred Wylara 9 Plus briskets. And let's just jump right into this week's show.
All right, joining me now, a guy we were supposed to have last week. We had a little number mix-up. Everything has been fixed now. You can find him last week at the Berea National Rib Cook-Off. You can find him this week at the Lima, Ohio Pig Fest, one of the 3 pitmasters of the Pork Brothers competition team. Mike Fritz joining me here on the show. Mike, how are you, buddy?
Hey, I'm good. How are you doing this evening?
Doing absolutely fabulous, Mike. Appreciate you reloading for the show again. We were just 1 digit off last week, but of course, as you well know, 1 digit's between life or death anymore here on the interview circuit. So I appreciate you reloading again for this week. I guess, Mike, before we get into the meat and the barbecue of the conversation, I guess what drew my interest in having you guys on, not only the fact that you're competitive barbecuers on the rib side, but also you are deeply entrenched into aviation. All 3 of you guys are pilots, so I guess I'm interested to know how even you guys have time to get together and get those rib recipes going, and how does the team form originally?
The team formed originally over a Labor Day weekend about 10 to 15 years ago. We were all college roommates, and we got together for a holiday weekend and decided over some good barbecue that other people ought to have some of it as well. So we decided to form a team.
Now, were you guys pilots at that point, or aspiring pilots, or how does that work out?
No, at that point in time, we were pilots. We got out of the university in the late 80s, early 90s as pilots, and been flying ever since. And we all do the corporate aviation stuff, flying the rich and famous at places they want to go. And so we find a little bit of time to do some cooking.
Now, are you guys all working for the same company? Who are you guys flying for, like NetJets or Flight Options, or who do you got?
One of our partners flies for NetJets. One of us flies for a medical billing company. I fly for a construction company and a little university, which I prefer not to name at this point in time.
Got it. So, are you? Is it all jet stuff? Or are you doing like King Airs, or what are you flying?
Nope, it's all jet. I'm in the Citation 500 and the Phenom. One of our buddies Doug flies the Citation Sovereign, and partner Brad just got checked out in the Challenger 604.
Ooh,
he's on the West Coast someplace this weekend.
Yeah, love the Challengers, no doubt about it. I spent a little time on the 121 side in private charter on the 50-passenger ERJ 145s.
Excellent. So you're a Phenom, man.
Yes,
an Embraer man?
That's right. An Embraer guy all the way through, absolutely. I mean, aside from being very fickle on the electrical stuff, they're very, very nice planes, if I do say so myself.
Yep.
All right, so when you decided everybody else should have some of this good barbecue, where does the competitive juices start to flow, and how do you find yourself going into your first event, and when was that?
Oh, they went into the first event 10 years ago, and they was doing it then. And I didn't join into the last couple of 3 years. I had families to take care of to begin with, and little kids to spend my time with. So they suckered me into it a couple of 3 years ago, and the competitive juices always did flow between us. So we like to go out there and compete on a day-to-day basis.
Now, what you guys are doing as the Pork Brothers is a little bit out of the normal than what we talk about here on this show. Typically, I'll have a KCBS pitmaster, an FBA guy, or some of the Texas sanctioning bodies, IBCA, Texas Gulf Coast, and so forth. So they're doing, the KCBS, the FB guys are doing the 4 meats. The Texas guys do 3 meats. Evidently, they don't like pork shoulder down there. So they just leave it off altogether. But you're, I guess, more or less what we'd call ribbers, right? You guys are rib burners?
Yeah, but we are more ribbers, and we do some of the KC barbecue events, but we don't participate in many of them. We're more of a burner, more of a vendor, and more of a people pleaser, I guess, than the true competition guys. So
how does that particular situation work to what the fans of this show are normally used to hearing about? How do you... can you just enter a rib contest? Is it something that you have to be kind of willed into in order to get on that kind of a circuit? How does the whole thing lay out when you're going to be, for instance, you're doing the Lima, Ohio Pig Fest this coming weekend. Now, as luck would have it, there's a KCBS event tied into that. I actually know about that. But last week you were at the Berea Rib Cook-Off just west of Cleveland here. So how do you get entered in there, and what's a weekend for you three like?
Oh, getting in is, it's pretty stiff competition getting into Berea like type of events. I think last weekend we had 15 ribbers from Texas, South Carolina, Arkansas, all over the Midwest that came in and set up. I think there was, we had bands of music for 3 days, 4 days, probably sold, 500-600 cases of ribs at least between the guys, probably more.
And do you have to, what's your, do you have to buy into every event, or are you buying all those ribs?
We're buying those ribs, and you buy in. I mean, it's an entry fee to get in, and you hope you make your money back on the customer turnout or the people turnout.
What kind of an entry fee are you looking at to get in one of these things?
Anywhere from $300 or $400 on a big event. That Lima one was $3,000.
$3,000?
$3,000 to walk in the gate.
Man, did you say you fly jets, or you make enough money to own jets? Holy moly.
I don't mind telling you, I don't know nothing about rib burners. I've never been to a rib burn-off. Interesting stuff. Head on over to the BBQCentralShow.com. Check out the rest of this episode. Are you a burner? Let me know. I'd love to hear from you. John, John, at the BBQCentralShow.com. Go give this show a listen. Shoot me an email if you're a ribber. 2 calls to action, 1 show. Hope I'm not asking too much. Want to tell you thanks for checking out the show today. I'm your host, John Solberg, and until next time on the best moments of the Barbecue Central Show in 10 minutes or less, I cannot wait to talk to you again soon.